Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to show you exactly how much you need to save to at least have 1 million or 2 million saved up when you retire. Okay, so let's take a look, because a lot of people have this dream of becoming a millionaire, or they want to be financially free when they retire, but nobody ever goes through the process of calculating it. And that's the first step. You've got to see what is the job that needs to be done. Then we can set a game plan around how do we go about doing it. So let's start off with a few different variations. Let's play around with this calculator and get an understanding of what we need to do. Now, the premise we're using here is we're going to use compound growth on, let's say, an index fund. And we know the S&P or mutual fund can give you at least a 6% per annum return. So we're going to use those stats in this one. So let's take a look. So let's say we want to end on $1 million, right? So we want to retire on 1 million. And let's say we're going to retire at 60 years old. You can change the numbers based on what you need, but let's say we want to retire at 60 years old. Now we're going to assume we start with nothing. Now, if you have some, this helps the process. Add that in your calculator. If you already have 100K, 200K, 300K, go ahead, put that in. That will help your calculations. And we're going to choose a monthly contribution which compounds, okay? We're going to assume a 6% return on the market. Now, you can get more than 6%, you can get less than 6%, but let's use a steady 6% because you know, a good index fund will give you 6 to 8% quite comfortably. So let's use that. So if we're retiring at 60 and we started at 20 years old, so that gives us 40 years of doing this investment, we would have to put away $500 a month in order to have 1 million by the time we retire. Okay, so as a 20-year-old, if you put away $500 a month, you can retire by the period that you want to, okay, which is by 60. Now, let's take a look. So that same person who's 20 years old, they're going to be investing for 40 years till they're 60. Let's say they want to get to 2 million. That person will now need to save up $1,000. So if that's your ambition, you want $2 million by the time you retire at 60, let's figure out how do we put $1,000 away. Okay, and naturally, as you start trying to get to that $1,000, you might start saving more. You might start saving 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and so we might not need to wait till we're 60. That's how this can work. Okay, so it's good to at least set a plan for the future, but hopefully you can achieve it much quicker. Now let's go back to 1 million. At this time, let's say we don't start at 20, we start at 30 years old. So till we get to 60, we've only got 30 years left. Okay, so for 30 years, you can see the difference. If you're a 30-year-old and you want to start, you have to start putting 1,000 already. See the difference? So that 20-year-old, if they start putting 1,000 away now, they're going to get to 2 million. Because you've started 10 years later at 30, you need to put 1,000 away now. Okay, and you're going to get to 1 million. So he or she only needs to put 500 to get to 1 million, and they can put 1,000 to get to 2 million. You need to put 1,000 away monthly for the next 30 years to get to 1 million. Now, if this 30-year-old person wanted to get to 2 million, they will need to put closer to 2,000 away. So you can see how difficult this becomes the later you leave it, because the effect of the compounding needs to work. So if you're a young buck out there, you've just started and you've only got a little bit, 100, 200, don't underestimate it. Take that 100, 200, put it away. Not only are you going to get good habits and actually learn a lot, but the compounding will make a difference because you're giving yourself an extra 10 years in the market, 10, 15 years. And that makes all the difference. I mean, I wish I started even earlier, right? I mean, maybe as parents, we should do that for our kids and just let it compound for them, even if it's £50 a month, £60, $100, you know, whatever it is. Okay, interesting. Now, let's go to a 40-year-old. So let's go to a 40-year-old who's got 20 years left to invest to get to 60. They will need to put away 4,000. Do you see that? Okay, just by reducing that, so we've gone from 2,000 for the 30-year-old, the 40-year-old will need to put $4,300 away to ever get to 2 million. And if they want to get to 1 million, they will need to put $2,000 away. Now look at the difference, guys. The 40-year-old will need to put $2,000 away, okay, to get to 1 million. The 30-year-old had to put about 1,000. And the 20-year-old who started only need to put $500 away to the side. Okay, so you can see how more difficult this gets. Now, finally, you've got a 50-year-old who's only got 10 years left to invest. They will need to put $6,000 away for the next 10 years in order for it to compound to 1 million. And if they want 2 million, they will have to go ahead and put away $12,000. Okay, $12,000. Now let's go back to our 20-year-old. He put $1,000 away to become a 2 millionaire. Okay, to achieve 2 million. So that's 20-year-old has got to get started. And the older you are, the more you'll need to earn income to put away if you want to build to $1 million. Or, which will come on to another video, you need to take higher risk strategies, because this is by far the least risky strategy. You're putting your money in a slow index fund to give you 6%. This is almost, very, very low risk. Okay. So, and that's why for those who want to build their wealth quicker, we have different strategies: value stocks, growth stocks, real estate, cryptos for some of your portfolio. Don't take too much risk with crypto. There's a lot of strategies which get you much more than 6% because you want to pick this up. But for those of you who want to do a steady, and you can do both, by the way, there's no reason you can't do both with part of your portfolio, do steady contributions, whatever you can afford, $100, $200, $500, $1,000, $2,000, depending on your income, put it away. And some of the others, if you could put that into a higher risk portfolio for value stocks, growth stocks, a little bit for crypto, that's how you start building. It's not one or the other. You don't have to be an index fund investor or a growth stock investor or a crypto investor. Why can't you do all of them? All of these are investment vehicles for you to use, right? So let's go back to this 20-year-old who's got 40 years to invest till he's 60. And let's say he wants to make 10 million. This guy's got ambitions. Now, they would have to put away $5,000 for the next 40 years, to get to $10 million. Okay? $10 million. So that's the key. And if you were to look at that for the 30-year-old, it's $10,000. Okay? So it doubles. So from $5,000 to $10,000 for the 30-year-old. So you can see how the time is on your side. And that's the message I want to get across to you on this video, is it's all about time in the market. Okay, so for those of you who are a bit on the fence, you're not sure whether to start investing, each year you, let's call it waste, each year you delay putting money in the market, you're missing out on the compounding. And the compounding means you're getting the 6%, not just on the money you put in, but on the growth. Okay, so you put $100 in, it's going to grow 6%, it's going to turn into $106, right? And then next time you're going to get 6 on that $106. Okay, so you're going to get 6% on the $106, which is even more. But you've also contributed another $100. And it just compounds and spirals and spirals and spirals. And that's the impact of compounding. And that's why I think it was Einstein who called it the eighth wonder of the world, is compounding. And it's misunderstood because people don't understand how powerful it is. I mean, let me pull this up. Let me find this for you guys. Let's see. So if you were to save 1 cent every day and you're doubling it, okay, so you started off with 1 cent and you doubled it every single day. By day 20, you will have only $5,000. But by day 30, you'd have $5.3 million. So there you go, guys. That's the power of letting things compound and doing things repetitively. And that's why it's the eighth wonder of the world. So there you go, guys. That's how you save $1 million by the time you retire, or 2 million or 3 million. Use the calculator to calculate what you want to achieve backwards based on the age you want to retire. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.